Hello again, friends, and welcome to week 9 of the SISU Heart Project. Not sure if anybody noticed or what, but today we're recording on Saturday. I had been doing recordings and uploading on Tuesdays. The last couple weeks have just been kind of just hitting a challenging time in the cycle of life. So if you didn't watch last week's video, I went into a little bit of what had happened last week 2 weeks ago. It'll be 2 weeks ago tomorrow. And that just kind of threw everything off. And so just getting through it, which is a great segue into this week's SISU Heart recipient, because this week the SISU Heart goes to all of you. Anybody who's watching this video, it's the SISU community. These last 2 weeks that have been kind of challenging, it really has brought out a lot of what SISU community means. Obviously I didn't plan it that way. Nobody definitely didn't plan to let's go into this project and then plan something that was kind of traumatic where it shows why you need community, but such is life. So it was really interesting because I was talking to my sister, and it was going into the time for when I would normally be recording the video. So it was last Monday night, and she was like, okay, so tomorrow you do the video. And I was like, yeah. And we were just talking about who's this week's nomination, and I had told her I hadn't had anybody that had been nominated yet, but I had also not checked the email, and so that night I should have known the twin was leading into something, but I checked the email and I opened it up, and I was blown away because I think there were there were a handful of emails that came in as nominations from my community nominating me, and when I tell you the feels that hit me with that, it was real. And just hearing people's words kind of reflect back to me of what they've seen me go through, why they were nominating me, and it was just really that reinforcement of, hey Laura, we see you and we love you, and you are SISU. And so that meant everything. And that is why this week the SISU Heart is lifting the SISU Heart community. So everybody that sent me in a nomination, everybody that has just kind of reached out, and not even just with what had happened a couple weeks ago, but just in general, as you get older, the group the circle that you keep around you becomes so important, and you really start to understand why, as you go through things, and as you really have to lean on other people. I heard a great quote that about human beings being a culture of community, and it's so true. We are human, and humans are not designed to walk this world alone, and that is what SISU, the strength of SISU, because it's not just you doing it alone, it's the community around you, and so thank you everybody. And the SISU Heart, from me to you, I am doing a terrible job of doing a heart, whatever. As far as training goes, it's interesting that the timing, I have had some kind of imposter syndrome sort of creeping in, and it's perfect timing in terms of where I'm reaching in to tap in on my strength, tap in on what is important to me, who is important to me. And one of those things is always having fun doing this. The first year that I ever trained for the half Ironman, and like being such a noob into just the entire aspect of it and learning everything from the ground up, I put a lot, like there was so much pressure that I had put on myself and so much anxiety about completing it, and to where, and I had overtrained because I did not know what I was doing, and so by the time I completed, I was so depleted, and I never want to cross the line feeling like I can't wait to get this done. I never want to feel that way ever, and so I'm not going to let that creep in on this one either. I'm not. I can look at the stats and say, oh, I'm not getting faster. Who cares? Who cares? Like, yes, the goal is sub 6 hours. That's the goal. That doesn't mean that it's not successful no matter what. The journey is what determines success. It's getting through the journey, and that's the funnest part of it. And I don't want to take that away from myself, and I don't want to take it away from just triathlon in general, because I love this sport so much. So with kind of shelving that in terms of I'm not getting faster, or the paces are blah blah blah, the training's going well. Like I'm still swimming and biking and running. I have had a couple these last 2 weeks have just been a bit challenging. So let me talk about the challenge, but also something really good and really fun that's also come out of training. So last Monday, again, just kind of, it was 1 week since like the really hard Monday, and I went and did my swim Monday morning. The universe was looking out for me though, because I ended up getting blocked by, like, kind of blocked in not being able to turn down that road that I normally take to the pool where the accident happened. Just this truck seemed to kind of come out of nowhere, and I couldn't get into the turn lane, and so I had to go a different route. And it was like, all right, that it is okay. I'll listen to you, universe. I'm going this way today. Well, then Monday evening I went to go for just a casual run, just to kind of, it wasn't on the training. I was just looking for it to just like, all right, let me go, just move about, kind of, work through the feelings and everything. And sometimes I struggle with what I call my lazy leg, and it's my left leg that will just seems to kind of drag sometimes. It's probably something in the form, or who knows. The shoes that I was wearing, I had not run outside in those shoes in a while. I don't know that had anything to do with it. They were the shoes that I ran the full Ironman in, and they're not a different, like, anyway, I believe that what happened is I think that I tripped on a root in the ground, like on the paved path. There are a lot of roots that kind of come up. I'm guessing that maybe my foot drug. Either way, I tripped, fell flat onto the ground, I seem to always fall on my right side. So kind of, and when you fall on pavement, when you fall in general, as you get older and into your, I'm 43, you feel it. You really feel it. Thankfully, somehow nobody was around. It was just me and the trees and the squirrels laughing at me. Nobody saw that one. So, all right, brushed myself off, scraped up my knee pretty good. Like I hit my knee pretty good, and my shoulder, and my hand, so carried on, kind of shaking it off a bit, ran, I was really just like, I got to keep moving so that I don't just seize up. So get through that. Then of course, the following days are a little bit, kind of feeling that. And then Thursday, I was doing my bike ride, my training ride, and I decided to go to do it outside. And I was doing it on my road bike, on my Ventum, which is awesome. It's not here right now. I'd show it to you. So I was doing that, and I was coming up on an intersection, and a lot of times as I'm approaching an intersection, I will gear up because I know that I'm going to have to stop. So that way I'm in a lighter gear, and so it's easier to just kind of push off and go. And so I'm clipped in. I'd already had my left foot. I always unclip my left foot. That's the first foot that comes out. My right foot usually always just stays clipped in. And I think that I probably did the whole magical pedal at the same simultaneous time that I went to shift up. It happens a lot. And the chain slipped off, but when it slipped off, it locked up my chain ring, and so I fell straight down, and again fell down onto my poor right knee, onto my right shoulder, and now the bike is in the shop because I potentially I'm hoping that it was just like a slight little bend in the rear derailleur, and they're looking at it to see if they can straighten that out. So I'm pretty sore, just from taking it. Because the ride back, like the chain kept slipping. Like I would get going, I had to mess with it to get it, and then I think it was 4 or 5 miles away from the house. So either way, I had to come back, and it happened twice. Thankfully, the one time, I just kind of into the bushes. It wasn't too bad of I didn't hit the pavement. It was more of a soft little catch. And then the rest of the ride home, I was just, every time I would feel it slipping, I'd stop, try to fix it a bit. So anyway, it was just like one of those times, what is going on? But the fun part, like I said, that the bike is getting looked at. Took it to the guys over at Dialed Cycling Lab. They're really awesome. And I still have I have my Canyon, which is my triathlon bike. I don't like riding my triathlon bike out on anywhere near where people are or somewhere, because I don't trust drivers. That bike is so much more rigid, so it's not nearly as comfortable and fun. It's designed to be down in the aero position, and when you're kind of cruising around, you're not really I'm not really getting down into the aero bars. So it is what it is. I still have a bike to ride. Everything's fine, and that's gonna get fixed, and we'll be good. A fun, positive side of training, though, my partner and I, it was very serendipitous, and she's very good with knowing things that I need and just kind of suggesting, and I always feel, there's always an aspect of feeling safe and a little bit more brave when I have her there, and she had suggested, let's go to the Tri-Cities and spend a weekend, do a little bit of course recon, stay there, so then that way the day of the race, it's not the first time that I'm seeing it. And so last weekend, that's what we did. We met in the Richland area, and we stayed there and got to do a little bit of biking. I don't know that we biked on the actual path. I think that we biked mostly on the running where we're going to do the run. It's just gorgeous there. It is so gorgeous. Got myself to get my face into the Columbia, and it turns out we are pretty sure that where we did got into the water is the exact where the race is going to exactly start. So that's pretty cool. It's going to turn out so that exactly what she said, the day of the race, I will have things that I'm gonna recognize, oh, okay, I've been here, I remember that restaurant, or it's all psychological, and I'm very, very lucky to live close enough to be able to have made a trip like that, because like she had pointed out to me, this is the first year they're doing it, so this is the first year for anybody doing it, which is kind of cool. So anyway, that also is another aspect of just having that community around you. You know, like it's always it's interesting when you kind of look back and like even like with the conversation with my sister and her just kind of knowing like what I need and sort of rallying the troops and sort of like ushering me that way without really like saying, Laura, go check the email, you got emails, you know, and Kirsten just kind of like, come on, let's go. And because she was there, you know, and I knew that she was right there, like it just kind of helped give me that comfort to just like, all right, I'm just gonna jump into the water and go. So this week was a lot of rambling, and if you've made it this far, thanks for sticking around and listening. And let's see, according to my app, Tri-Cities 70.3, we are 12 weeks away, my friends. 12 weeks for Ironman Tri-Cities 70.3. We are still on this road. Looking forward to week 10. Next week, we'll be halfway through the SISU Heart Project. This is exciting stuff. So thank you again for everybody that has taken time to stop and watch any part of the video. Give a thumbs up, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. Please send in your nominations to sisuheart2024@gmail.com. And I love you all. And thank you. See you next week.
Underneath the sky painted with dreams, we're chasing the echoes of silent screams, caught in the spell of the cosmic night, where fantasies bloom.